Right, the thing that you're staring at is the steeple of St Mary's Church here in Acklam. Some people call it West Acklam. Other people call it the Church of Middlesbrough. We're here on Teesside, and the original church that stood here, that had one priest, just one priest, goes back to the Domesday Book of 1098, which is incredible, incredible story. Now, this one here, 1874, this was built, and it's a beautiful church, but it's very much of its time. And when this was built, because the old church, now imagine you've had a church here since the Domesday Book. Why would you knock it down? I mean, why? Yeah. But the Hustler family that own the hall, that is our main target, Acklam Hall, where we've just been, the Hustler family decided they wanted a more modern church. They thought having an old church wasn't a good thing. I think it's a great thing. However, they knocked it down. Now, there was a huge furore, as furores go. All of the locals complained, protested. The Hustler family owned the ground it was on, so they could basically do what they liked, and they built this church instead. But a woman called Anne Lee, at least 2 times, had gone to the authorities and said this should be built. Now, Anne Lee was a sorceress or a witch, and she was Romany, from a family of travellers, and she had 11 generations of her family in here. Now, it's a small churchyard. It was a little bit bigger. It did used to go way over there. 11 generations of her family. So she said to the Hustler family, may the dead rise from their graves to curse you and your family for disturbing the sleep of the dead. This curse will last for all time, and it is now written in Romany law, L-O-R-E, law. So this is a cursed churchyard to start with. So we're going to have a quick look around it now. Hopefully, keep your eyes peeled. If you see anything, scan it, tell us. And remember, share.
This is the supporters bit.
Oh, it's the supporters bit. Sorry, I shall shut up.
But so, we could do the necro, because we haven't done that yet in the show, even though...
Well, no, we haven't.
And I can shine our new laser.
Yes, absolutely. We have a new laser gadget that may show something up. So check it out. We're going to have a look around here. I'm going to necromance just a tad, and there's a story of this place that is very, very strange, because this is one of the few places anywhere that has a story of a ghost baby attached to it. Right, so let's make our way, see what we can do. Now, it's small here, but it's busy, and we can feel stuff.
You haven't got your little speaker, which is very low for this mic. Can't hear it.
I haven't got the speaker.
Oh, it's not going to pick up on this mic, that's all.
Back at the ranch. Okay, well, stop it. We'll use the rebancer a bit later on. We've actually got to watch out here, because there's a couple of interesting stories attached to it, but the ghost baby is the most interesting. If you've seen this grave here, it's amazing. Charles Lothian Bell, 1835 to 1906. Helen, his wife, is here too. She died in 1915. Amazing. A beautiful grave. If you hear traffic in the background, you've got to be put off by that. Hustler.
Yeah, shoulder foot.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's the ghost of the hall?
No.
100%.
1872. Thomas Hustler died June 30th, 1874, 1872.
1873, that's Charlotte.
Oh my God.
This is the lady who haunts Acklam Hall.
When are you
No, it
awake?
isn't. It isn't. It isn't, because the
Oh,
Charlotte we're
right.
looking for died in 1800. So this is her granddaughter.
When I awake up after thy likeness, I shall be satisfied with it.
There's also a scribe on the bottom as well that I can't make out.
Looks like there's someone looking over the grave there
Where?
on this camera. No, I was looking on the camera.
Converted.
What?
If Kenny shines his light up again behind the
Except ye
grave.
be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter with thy. Oh God, you can see that.
Do you want to explain why the dots are on the screen?
This is Charlotte's daughter.
With thy God of heaven.
This is Charlotte.
Is that who it is?
It's Charlotte. This is Charlotte now.
Right.
The ghost story I told you a little bit earlier on. The Charlotte that haunts the staircase is the mother of little Charlotte. Now, when she died just after bearing Charlotte. When she died, she wanted the child to be called Rose, and one of the windows in Acklam Hall is called the Rose window. She wanted the child called Rose, but after hemorrhaging, dying and falling down the stairs to her death, the family thought, well, we can't call the child Rose, we'll name it after Charlotte. Because if you look at the date, she's 72, she died in 1873,
Yeah.
which would mean she was born on 1880,
Right.
which is when Charlotte died.
Uh-huh.
It absolutely fits.
Of course it does.
So they renamed the child Rose Charlotte,
And this is Richard Hustler.
and she married Thomas Hustler. Well,
That's the one behind.
there was 2 children.
There, look, is it? There, oh, it's William Hustler.
That's 1927. That's grandchildren. Years on. Wow. I mean, finding the child that inadvertently cost Charlotte her life is amazing. Amazing. I know you're having difficulty hearing, but I think I've got to try the necromancer here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just do hear this mic
I will absolutely do that.
with our new laser.
What can you see?
Me.
Oh, someone's whispering there.
Charlotte. Charlotte. Are you here, Charlotte? That's amazing. What a find. What a find.
I can't believe that's the first one I went.
But it fits. It fits absolutely with the story. And I'll tell the full story, obviously, earlier. Aye. Sounds like it. It's very quiet tonight. We've got a lot to see.
Shame we can't go see that.
I can't.
Make it easier, but we're going to have to go around.
Yeah.
Just tried it.
This whole area that we're in is incredible. It's incredible. And when we get around the front, I'll tell you more. But let's head there now. This is a flying visit outside because we love doing our outdoor things. I know, amazing.
John Robert.
Now there's a grave in this churchyard. I know we haven't found it. We haven't really got time to go around all of them. But it proves a ghost story. Now, in a church magazine...
There's an odd grave with a little stick, like a little... No, there. That's weird. Isn't it?
Let's tell you this story though, Kenny, because it's a corker.
Cool.
There's very rare baby ghost stories.
Very rare, yeah.
And a man called Richard Bell used to have lots of affairs with women of ill repute.
Right.
And he also took advantage of young children in the village here or hereabouts. And he got a 14-year-old girl pregnant. Now, back in those days, you could marry at 12.
Oh God.
But he got a 14-year-old pregnant, and his wife Elizabeth got to find out about it. And Elizabeth said, "Look, I'll take the child on as my own,
Right.
but you must not have this young girl in your life. So you've got to give her some money, get her out of the parish." So he gave this girl some money and sent her off to Durham. She moved to Durham City, started a new life, did whatever she was going to do, leaving Elizabeth with this baby that was about 6-7 months old.
Right.
She hated the baby. She hated the baby. And a couple of days later, Richard comes home and says, "I've got something to tell you. It's about little George Bell." They named it George, the baby George. "Got to tell you about little George. George died today." And Richard went, "But he was completely healthy. What happened?" And she said, "He just started choking, and I tried to revive him. I tried to get the food out of his mouth, but he just died." Now, all across the child's shoulders and neck were red bruises and marks. So it looks like that she choked the baby to death. Now, this was in a church magazine. Now, that's a rarity in itself to have something that graphic in a church magazine, because they're normally, especially back then, they were normally light.
Yeah.
However, I go onto the website, and you can do it too, St Mary's Church. Look up the Bell family, and you'll find George Bell, 1-year-old, buried here. And it fits the date, 1773, it fits the time. George Bell, the child, is in here. And what they say is that late at night you can hear sobbing, a baby crying, like it's teething almost. And George apparently is in a tiny little grave up against a wall.
So it could be one of them.
It looks like it's, I mean, Crosshair's favourite.
It is, isn't it? Could be any of these, couldn't it? Will it be named or not?
Well, it says so on the website.
It's a little grey.
Joseph William.
Bell.
Seen a one. I've seen a bell before. But that was the big one. Isn't it?
You see, realistically, it could be that, Tony. Do you know what I mean? Could be anything here. Come on, we've got a lot to do. Let's head back.
Could be any of them.
Could be anything. But another amazing story that very few people know, and it's right here. Acklam Hall is literally just in front of this place. And when we say it's up against the wall, it could be any wall though, Kenny, do you know what I mean? Poor little George didn't get the chance to live. It's too early in the evening tonight for us to be able to expect to hear him, but in the distance we've got Tees Valley Hospital. I think it's here we've got our leg with.
If we go there, you get it there.
Ow. Careful, this
It's taller than you're thinking of.
thorns. Just put your hand on the damn thing. Aya, aya, aya. Good. Come on then.
Right, turning in the face.
He's got a 2 ball on him. Now if we're going to go all the way down to the front of this property, on the way down I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Who did this land?
You need to be close to this mic as well for our stories.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kenny, can you light up where Tony's going as well? Who do you think this belonged to? All of this land? It belonged to a famous historical character. Who do you think?
Oh, God.
To be honest, you'd be hard pressed.
Not peas by any chance, is it?
No. Very famous. Somebody whose name you've heard of probably 100,000 times in your life.
Are they from Teesside area?
No.
Newcastle?
No, further afield. This whole area of land around Acklam used to be ploughed fields. Massive ploughed fields providing no end of foodstuffs. Usually grain, barley, you know, the staples of life.
Yeah.
And this whole area was given to Robert the Bruce.
No.
It belonged, now you got to remember, and we keep telling you this so you'll never forget. What the? That was spooky voices. Did you hear that, Tony?
Yeah, I definitely heard something. I don't know what's over there.
It was like... That's just marshes, isn't it?
But that was like a witchy voice.
That's exactly what I heard. So anyway, come on down and I'll tell you the tale, because I need to be close to you too. I know you just like me company, understand. These used to be grain fields essentially, long before hospital. I went. Well, there's the estate there, so that may be what we're hearing. Not from what we heard behind. Cheapest, look at this, and there it is. That's the edge of the hall. Again, we're heading back in. Acklam Hall with a beautiful open gate. But this used to be just paddocks, just where people grew stuff, so it had a value.
Right.
Now, do you remember in the William Wallace film Braveheart with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
There was a bit where Wallace was fighting with somebody and pulled his helmet off, and it was Robert the Bruce.
Yeah.
Not Robert the Bruce.
No, the Bruce.
Robert de Bruce.
Ah, right.
B-R-U-S. French, because he was French.
Uh-huh.
Everybody goes, but he was Scottish. No, he wasn't. He was French. Robert de Bruce.
Right.
Now, Robert the Bruce was fighting for the English. Why? Are we going through it? Or?
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah. We love a funky game. This is cool. That's beautiful. So, the reason he was fighting for the English was because the English promised him land in England, and the land they promised him was this. It was this big lump of Teesside, which wasn't even Teesside at the time.
No.
And because of that, Robert de Bruce fought on the English side, and later, of course, he would change sides and fight against the English successfully too. But this whole land belonged to Robert de Bruce, and it was called at the time Acklam, land of the oaks.
Here's where I do the gig.
In Old English. And tell me, you gigged here. What kind of gig was it?
We did a gig with loads of bands on, and would you believe I brought Courtney Hadwin from America's Got Talent on stage right there. One of our first ever gigs that she did, and she sang amazing, and we knew then she's going to be a superstar. We said, what a voice she's got.
And we know that she signed up to an American label who are coaching her along, so she's going to be a big name.
She's going to be massive, Courtney. She won, but she didn't win America's Got Talent. She got
if you've seen the gold buzzer, was it Cowell?
It was, I think it was, wasn't it, in America?
Yeah, it's always Cowell.
Yeah. I
Well,
think
the gold buzzer thing is massive, and for those of you that want to picture Courtney in your head, she sang the Black Crowes, the original version, Otis Redding song, Too Hot to Handle,
Too Hot to Handle.
and she did a brilliant job of it.
I've got the video still when she sang here. She was absolutely amazing. This whole car park was full of people watching us. Brilliant.
And there is the hall, of course. Acklam Hall, amazing. Again, on the staircase there is the rose window, and that is just a beautiful, beautiful bit of work. Built in 1680, and between 1680 and 1683, and in 1684 King Charles II came and stayed in there and created a bond with the Acklam Knights that would lead to incredible tales and a lot of the naughty mischief that I told you about before. But down here is a place, sorry Tony, you're away. Down here is a place that I must say has an incredible story attached to it too. Because if we're talking ghosts, what was the first ghost on this ground? Well, we'll never know of the time of the Bruce. But down here, just here, there's like a little lake, a little river, a little bridge, some ponds. That's how it was. How it is now, I think they've got it decked out as like an ornamental river for Acklam Hall, really, because it's on the Acklam land. This is all Acklam Hall's land. But if you head down here, back in the early days, there used to be a pub here called the White Ship. Not a pub, an inn, a tavern, and this is where it was. It could have been anywhere around here, but it said it was amongst the ponds.
Just seen something there. It's a bird. It's a duck, isn't it?
Ducks?
I just seen them moving there.
But look at this. This is beautiful. And I've got an awful lot of people. You can come down here and have a look. Yeah. There are little ducks on our picture.
They're swimming around there, like, okay, there they are. There's loads of them there. Nature watch again.
They're all hiding.
I love the fact that a safety thing you make it tight.
Somebody's hiding in.
There's the ducks, look.
The White Ship, though, is the name of the place that used to be here. And on the ground of the public house, there's the story.
Can you see the duck story?
It's a tiny bit on the screen. I'm sure people can see them on the big screen.
Right in front of the ponds, as they call them. I presume they've redone the ponds, and this is it. But a man called Robert Mallet came down to the White Ship, and when he got to the White Ship, he says, "I'm here to pick up my son. You said he was here." Now, the landlord said, "Your son is here, but something terrible's happened." They took him into a back room where doxies or prostitutes used to be. The ducks are going crazy. They said, "I've come for my son, he's upstairs." So the father knew he'd been with some ladies of the night, and when they got upstairs, he was lying naked, sprawled across a bed, dead. And he said, "Did one of these whores kill my son?" No, he was well after she left. He had 2 more tankards of rum, and he's dead. He'd overindulged to such an extent that he'd taken his own life. You know, because alcohol is a poison. I know people don't realise it, but alcohol's a poison. So, there's one right there. Look at that. That too. We're spoiling the night in tonight. So anyway, so there's this young boy, Charles Mallet, sprawled out dead. The father picks him up and carries him away from the pub that was here down into Acklam, which is that way.
There's a voice there. That was definitely a voice. There was definitely a voice there.
That's a duck. But they're not happy with us. Let's leave the ducks in peace and head back to the hole. But the around here, one of the North's earliest ever ghost stories.
Really?
Because we're going back 1200s, right? 1200s. The White Ship Inn Tavern. The ghost of Charles remained at the hall and kept travelling around this area and can sometimes be seen near where the pub was, and we believe next to the ponds. So Charles is here somewhere. Worth keeping your eyes open for him. We might have just heard him.
Well, there's definitely a voice there.
Just you can't come out to a place with stories like this and not dive in. But we've got a whole host of oddities left in the hall.
Use the SLS camera here.
Well, we may have time to do it. Let's see. Let's get as much done as we can. Right, everybody. So we've upset the ducks enough. We've heard a few voices. Let's get back in. We've got traps to set. We've got rooms to feel. We're getting the most haunted rooms to check. Now, we do know that the restaurant's going to be open for about another hour, but we're not going to be too close to that. So let's head in. Can you imagine living in a place like that? Look at that. Light it up for me. So everybody's pointing.
Keep hearing voices.
We live close enough to town, but unless people are screaming,
Exactly.
we shouldn't be hearing them. And that's where we are.
You know, there's probably a lot of people who haven't even heard of Acklam Hall before, because before I come to do any gigs here, I've never heard of it.
Acklam Hall.
Yeah.
It used to be a school.
Right.
It was a school for a while. It was Acklam Hall Grammar School. And I must say they've turned it into a beautiful place.
Well-known comedian, really pretty good.
A young seaside comedian.
Yeah.
Similar name, it's not Donahue.
Is it not?
No.
Something I know who it is. Really, he's dead funny. Yes. Very close to the border, but funny.
Check the upstairs window, Denny.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on there? They just closed the curtains. Have they? It just looked like they closed.
I thought the window was open there.
So did I.
I was convinced that window. There. There's something moved in there.
And that's what I saw.
The right-hand window at the bottom.
Well, I just thought that whoever's there has probably seen our lighting.
No, the curtains haven't closed, look.
No. Well, the first floor is the one that's most haunted, apparently. And of course, around here there's beautiful gardens with a place of fun. You can't go through the front door because we're officially staffed. So, come on in. Let's get cracking.
Pulls. You pull. Not now. It used to pull out.
Penny, can you go and set? These aren't happening, mate. Have you got to switch
You've got to switch them on.
Alright. Okay, so there's two.
Right.
And there's
Gwen
Gwen
and
and
Ted.
Supernatural Ted. You know that big L-shaped room? The most haunted one?
Yeah. That's where to put it. Cool.
But we're in here first. We'll go to the UK. Come and join us.
Yeah, cameras blocked. There.
Just to make sure that that's steady. Put them both there, right up to the left. Don't do that to me!
Well, we're going to have wondering who's watering on my big room here in the day.
I'm testing all these out for the ghost thing and you're like coming up and doing that. I was like, oh my god!
So choose out there with the lights.
So that's fine, yeah.
So here we are, inside Acklam Hall now. As you can see, it's been decked out beautifully. It's a gorgeous place, fabulous place to come and have a meal or have a stay, or if you've got a business for you to hold some business meetings, seminars, all that kind of stuff that you do. Yet there's an amazing story here. So make sure you share. If you do, you could get one of our fabulous Night Owl badges. They're there for you. We'd love to share one with you. Now, the stories here are sensational and they never stop. everywhere you go there seems to be a tale. Now in the cemetery we saw Charlotte, a child Charlotte, born in 1800. 72 years of age she died, the child. But the original Charlotte is the grey lady that haunts Acklam Hall. Now the story goes that Charlotte was heavy with child and it was a difficult breech birth, and they had to get a woman who traditionally had birthed cattle and horses to put her hands inside poor Charlotte to bring the baby out. When the baby came out, the baby was completely red, and she said, "This child must be called Rose." They put the child in a cot. She was premature, but they looked after and nurtured her. Whoa. I've just had a creepy feeling. If anybody's caught anything there, I just got a sense of movement to my left. So, child's in a cot. There's Charlotte. She got up in the middle of the night in immense pain. A lot of people believe that she jumped out of a window. I can find no proof that she jumped out of a window at all. I do find 3 out of about 15 different stories that all seem spun around truth. She'd just given birth to the child she chose to call Rose. She's suffering pain in the middle of the night. She comes out. She hemorrhages at the top of the flight of stairs that we're going to be going up soon, and she tumbles. She tumbles down one side, tries to get up and tumbles down the second, and dies just outside this door, just around the corner from here. It's where she passed. Now, why does she still walk Acklam Hall? What I think, and you can't prove these things, but the child was taken away to be suckled by a wet nurse, because obviously mum wasn't there anymore, and the father decided to call the child a different name, not Rose that Charlotte wanted. Instead, named the child after his late wife, Charlotte, which is a beautiful tribute, but it's not what the original Charlotte wanted. And she comes back, and if you're on the stairs for any length of time, we're told she's been known to give you a little push, give you a little shove, or let you know, because if you're a regular ghost hunter, you'll know sometimes you pick up the feelings, the emotions, the sense of what is in the building, and you feel her pain, low gut pain, the hemorrhage that took her to her death. But she's here. People hear her and people see her, and we're hoping she's going to come out tonight. So the first thing I'm going to do is ring up the necromancer and get that amplifier on it so you can be able to hear absolutely everything.
We've got one new device as well. I've got the ghost box.
We have a new ghost box. Thanks again to the Jarapara people who've been some of our staunchest allies, and we're grateful. Support us all. Thank you. We're going to be using that gadget now. You can hear a little bit of change because we're not too far from a bar here. Are you here, Charlotte? Charlotte? Is that you, Charlotte? Hello? Charlotte? Speak to us. Trust in the Lord, she's just said. Tony. Female voice. Trust in the Lord. We've seen Charlotte. We've just visited your child's grave. Little Rose.
Charlotte, that sounded like?
The man said Charlotte. Charlotte. Speak to me, Charlotte. There are many with you. There's lots here. But it's Charlotte I wish to talk to. Do you wish to talk to me, Charlotte? Getting a mix. There's a lot here. But you've got to remember, this place has been here a long time.
Do you want to go in the attic? Of course.
Hang on, Kenny's just arrived. What have you found?
Right, I've just talked to a guy here who stays here at night time and looks after the place, and he just said the worst place in here is the attic. He says, "Do you want the key?"
Have you got it?
Not yet.
Go, get it. We'll go there right now. You see, when you come to working buildings, you cannot blame people for making a living. And people haven't made a living for a couple of years, so everybody's playing catch up, which is part of the reason all the bills are going up. And of course, according to today's news, up 40% because of Brexit. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. The things we do to our own country is ridiculous. I wasn't sure with the whole Brexit thing one way or another, so I didn't vote. I maybe should have done, because I've never known prices as they are at present. So Kenny's working on that.
Do you want to go upstairs a bit? It's less noisy.
Yeah, let's absolutely do it. Because we're going to have to head in that direction. I'll tell you what, can I just set a trap first? I've got the box as well, so we might as well put one down here. Just put it on the side of the table away from where we are.
It's going to try and get the key for it.
Right.
In a few minutes' time, try and get in the attic. That would be good.
Okay, can you hang here?
Yeah.
Do a sweep.
Right.
The two downstairs rooms, real slow. Do the whole thing.
The one next door in here.
And Tony and I, in the meantime, will just go upstairs, pick us up on the way in, because there's obviously attic is, I presume.
Must be the very top of it.
Right, so let's do that. We'll go up one floor in the meantime. These are the stairs, Tony. The stairs.
Oh.
So we need to. Apparently, we're not sure what floor she was on, but she fell down one, then she got up and fell down another. It's the best we can come down it. Now we'll go this way, so that's the longest way around. Now we mentioned that this place was a school. More proof of that is this. Middlesbrough High School for Girls, G.K. Macara, 1927 to 1963, but a proper history there. Now, I know this is a bar now, but it wasn't always. These used to be some of the huge state rooms.
Apparently the ceiling hasn't been touched since it was built.
Fantastic. How beautiful is that? And this, oh, I'm so glad we see it. This here, you want to be at this angle, looking up like that, because that's the Hustler coat of arms. And if you look up there, no, you're at the wrong angle, Tony.
I can see what's on it.
Can you see the top of the helmet?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, I mean, I can't see that far up, and I can see the helmet.
Well, what's on the top of the helmet? It's massive.
Oh, the dog.
The dog. It's a Talbot. Now, I don't know whether you've ever heard of a Talbot. A Talbot is a hunting dog. And back in the day, back in this time, the time of the night, a Talbot was used for attacking wolves and tracking people down. Now, you know how throughout history there's always been this story of detectives or soldiers tracking people down with bloodhounds. They were never bloodhounds. They were a bloodhound's brother, the Talbot. The difference is that a Talbot was quite a vicious, quite a bitey dog. They were also called lime hounds, and they were used across the Scottish borders for tracking down criminals. And the reason that they used to track them down, and not sloppy, slavery bulldogs, bloodhounds rather, they used Talbots because a Talbot would rip the person to pieces when it got hold of them. So the Hustler family put the Talbot on the top of their coat of arms to symbolise the courage of the Acklam Knights. And there it is, the official coat of arms for the Hustler family, featuring that amazing dog, the Talbot, on the top.
There's one there as well outside on the statue. There's a one there as well.
On the statue.
Oh, on the top of whatever the door there
outside, is. Yeah. That'll be the coat of arms as well. That's a Talbot. So, just fascinating, because I've never heard of a Talbot. They're extinct now, apparently. You can no longer get them. Oh, look at this. Oh, Tony, look at this one here. My goodness. And there's the Talbot. That's the royal crest. Fantastic. With the unicorn and the lion. Fabulous. Wow. They haven't touched this, have they? This is absolutely beautiful. How are we doing?
You couldn't make it up. You've just seen there, he says, you'll not believe this. I said, what? He says, what were we talking about upstairs? I said, we're talking about getting the key to the attic. He went, look at me message on the phone. She said, I've just got that 10 seconds ago. And it's from the woman just saying, by the way, your new set of keys are in a different box and all that. He says, I never get a message off this woman ever. He says, and literally 10 seconds ago, he says, how weird is that? She just sent him a message about the key.
So he's going to get it, has he?
He's going to try and get it. He says, I'm trying to find out where this new set of keys is, which is telling me about. He says, so I'll try and get that. I said, well, if you get it, come up. Don't give her a fright.
Right.
Because he gives her a fright before when I was in here. I was like,
Kenny, spoil yourself and have a look at this, Kenny. There's the coat of arms.
oh man,
With the dog up on the head.
dog up on the top.
Talbot. I'm just retelling the story of it. Talbot. It's an extinct dog now, but
Right.
it's the Acklam Knights who fought from here.
I know a dog called Talbot.
Talbot.
No, that's alright. Kelly, I know what I'm talking about.
Look at this. That's got to be a dragon, is it?
That is a dragon.
That's amazing. What a beautiful ceiling, though. And they've got
Oh, look at that. Like the cherubs, or?
Yeah. Yeah, looks like it. And over here, there's a more formal crest.
Oh, look at that.
I know, it's just
Mondroy.
stunning.
Is it? Do you ever Mondroy? What does that mean?
I had a wobble, downstairs. I was telling a story, and I was sure I got some movement on the left-hand side.
Right.
But so far, it's been flat, hasn't it? We haven't had anything.
Not yet.
So,
That's 1684.
that's on the other side of it. Yes, 1684. And that's where the ceiling. That was the year, because you can only put a royal crest up after a king stayed or a queen.
Right.
So he came here in 1684. This place was built in 1683. Finished.
I don't even know if I turned them on to any
I'll-
of them. Down and he gives a fight when he come in.
I'll put them in a city up position so you can see them.
Yeah.
I've just actually noticed them.
So I put them down. And he came to that door and he just went, what are you doing here? Let's hope these chandeliers don't fall over. Not like last week.
There's Gwen.
Oh, is that not mirror? What the hell is that? Is that the mirror? What is it? Is that like a... Is that like a person pattern drawn in?
Looks like a pattern.
Just
That,
be wear and tear, couldn't it?
No, look, it's a pattern. Of some kind. Can you see it?
It looks like it.
Can you see that? What is it though? It's like a...
It's spooky, isn't it?
Is it a name at the bottom there, look? That's a name. Isn't it?
William.
That's what it looks like.
Is that anything to do with you, William? Is there a William there?
That's really weird.
What the hell's that?
That's it, open up right now.
Right, now it's time for us to end our first half. We would love you to come with us. We've had a few nibbles. Hopefully we'll get an awful lot more. Tony, how do they do it?
yeah, if you're on Facebook, just follow the link in the video description. Become a subscriber and part 2 will be there. And on YouTube, just join the channel and part 2 will also be there for you.
And don't forget, you get everything we've ever done, plus all of the blahs and all of the chat things and all the little extras. So you will get all of that. However, if you don't join us, you'll not see any of the next bit, but we hope you do. Come on board, take part, let's make it happen. We're going in.